Hi, this is the evaluation of the orderIT trading system for January the 14th, 2021. We had 5 trades on that day. 3 were identified as buys and 2 were identified as short sells. The first trade was CLSN. That is Celsius Corporation. We tripped at 12:55:11 p.m. at a price of 90 cents. It was a buy trade. It closed the day at 90 cents. It actually was down 1.80%, so it actually was a down still. We'll check here. 12:55, roughly around here. So 90 up. There was a period here where it was up for a good 15 minutes above the tripping price. I consider that a positive opportunity. There's potential to get out. But as you can see, it came down after that and stayed pretty much steady, but it seemed to be steady right at the tripping price, so it looks like that was the boundary point for the stock, at least for activity on that day. That it seemed like it just would not go below that point. So it's not a positive, but certainly probably would have been a possible trade. Indicators, OBV showing that it peaked up around that tripping price, but stayed almost like you're moving sideways. MACD, same thing, actually dropping in the morning, and then that increase in the early afternoon, and then it came down again, moved sideways. OBV, interestingly enough, it shot up, but that drop that occurred right after it was a very high drop too. So DI was showing that it was very negative, just as it was very positive. So indicators are not strongly showing a positive direction. Bollinger Band, though, showed that it came up, then moved sideways. So Bollinger Band showing that it was somewhat stable. In the end, though, there was potential on that stock during that period of time indicated. Next trade is BB, and that's BlackBerry Limited. That tripped at 205.01 at a price of $8.94. It was a buy trade. It closed the day at 9/11, up 22.45%. Up this morning at $11.13, 22.33%. This stock increased 44% for the last, yesterday and this morning. The stock is showing very positive movements every morning. So definitely a positive trade there. Increasing quite a bit. OBV up, MACD up, showing a little bit of drop, up, down. MACD is kind of bouncing back and forth, but again, it shows that during that period of time where it tripped, it was moving up. Actually, yeah, right at that point, yeah, okay, MACD is showing at the peak that it tripped. And DI pretty much showing very strongly positive across the whole day. Bollinger Bands, unfortunately, the chart is just not showing a good the scale on the Y is very strange for one thing that it picked up. That it must be something that was in the data that marked it down low for some odd reason. But anyways, Bollinger Bands, you can't really tell, but it was moving sideways for the most part. Anyways, that was a good stock. A good day in that stock. Next trade is HIMX. That's Himax Technology Incorporated. That tripped at 2:07:37 p.m. at a price of $8.77. It was also a buy. It closed the day at $8.63. It was up 1.53%. Let's see. 207. It came up here. 870. And then dropped. There's a good period here, almost half an hour, where it was coming up above its tripping price a few times. While it's not extensive, I still consider it positive because there was a period of time in here where it was trading above its tripping price for a good amount of time. I consider that positive. Because of that, even though you can see right after that period of where it was at its peak here, it dropped. And if they stabilize it, pretty much, well, it did stay above its peak or its rise. It looked like it opened up above its tripping price. And the indicators, 47, OBB, yeah, OBB showing fairly good. MACD showing, actually coming down from negative, so interestingly enough. MACD negative, it came up pretty much a good portion of the afternoon, dropped and came up the afternoon. And interestingly, DI is actually showing very negative movement. It just happened to be that point in the middle of the day where it was down, not down heavily on DI. It was heavily down DI on downward trend, so it just happened to be tripping strong enough during that tripping period on DI to trigger it, but you can see DI was practically negative all day long. And Bollinger Band, it shows pretty much kind of like that activity. It dropped and increased a little bit up to that point where I said it would increase and tripped and then dropped again. So it was above its previous close, obviously, but the activity was somewhat coming downwards. And that period of time that it did trip, there was a period there where you could have gotten out of it, but overall that was not a strong stock. It just happened to be that it was trading a little bit higher than it tripped. So there was potential there. It had caught it, obviously, at its tripping price. I always say that I'm referencing the aspect of the tripping price is the price that they bought at, but a lot of times, you may come in, you may evaluate, and you see that it's dropping a bit, and maybe catch it when it's dropping a bit just because of maybe some reversal going on, and you may not caught it at the price if they tripped at the caught at low, which means there would have been more opportunity probably in the end. But that's not in consequence to the actual numbers that I'm working on. So I'm always going to work off of the numbers that are present. Next trade is MDT, that's Medtronic PLC. It tripped at 3:08 p.m. at a price of 118.36. It was a short sell. It closed the day at 117.77, down 0.80%. You can see it's down early morning too a little bit. But that again was a positive trade because it closed below its tripping price, and for a short sell, that's obviously a positive outcome. OBB showing steadily drop. MACD afternoon pretty much down. End of the day it looked like it may have been recovering a little MACD wise. DI down more negative than positive, and when it was down negative in the afternoon, it was heavily down, and Bollinger Band just moving down. So that stock was going down. Next trade is BX. That's the Blackstone Group Incorporated. It tripped at 3:30:03 p.m. Price of 63.25. It was a short sell. It closed today at 63.50. So it closed above its triple price. It was down 0.72%, and as you can see here, look, this is where it tripped and then came back up. So, yeah. I don't see any heavy opportunity there. Obviously, this is right at the end of the day, so these are always tricky trades. OBB, it was showing down. MACD was showing down. It just happened to be the end of the day. It happened to be recovering. And DI was showing heavily down. I'm going to say that this is a possible just because the indicators all across the board are showing a downward trend. And so Bollinger Band, same thing. I didn't look at it yet. Yeah, Bollinger Band just showing it's coming down. You can see it moving sideways a little bit, which is okay in the aspect it didn't shoot up, which is good. The indicators up here were showing that there was movements upwards, but not strongly. DI was actually very negative in the afternoon. So this stock looks like it was very negative, but I'm going to put that down as a possible. It didn't stay down when it tripped, but I think there's a good opportunity there on that one. So in general, that is 4 out of 5 trades that were deemed possible, and 5 out of 5 trades, if you include, 4 out of 5 trades positive. Basically, there'd be an opportunity to get out during the activity. And 5 out of 5 possible trades, which means that if you bought in maybe on the possible, that it probably would have been positive the day after. That's not 100% obviously, that's why I always say it's a possible, but it looks to be a strong possible, this one particular one. So I'd say that the potential is the stock that showed that it was moving down is still going to move down the day after. And you can see Bollinger Band, which is an interesting one. They get up 44, almost 45%, and up early again. It shot up again early this morning. In fact, early this morning it shot up more than it closed yesterday. So early morning the stock was showing very, very, very good potential. So a lot going on there, and that was a good day. I thank you for watching.